When I was a child, my Colombian parents made sure to ask me many questions, big and small. They were curious to know what I was afraid of, what I desired, and what I dreamed of.
My communication with my Vietnamese parents looked very different. They showed their love by providing for me, they fed me, and made sure all of my needs were taken care of. But words were scarce in my household.
As filmmakers, we typically consider words secondary to images. The maxim in our field is show, don't tell. They say an image is worth 1,000 words. Yet when it comes to telling stories about heat, the rule falls apart. Heat is notoriously difficult to visualize or even to film. So how do we tell stories of extreme heat without merely focusing on catastrophic outcomes?
In our short documentary, A Fragile Vessel, we follow one family's walk into the woods. Under the cool shade of the trees, Irma and Armando ask their children questions like, what is heat? And what happens to your body when you're experiencing all of that heat?
The family shares field notes about what it's like to navigate the rising temperatures in Texas, both as individuals and as a family. And at first glance, their dialogue might feel overly simple. Yet what we're witnessing here is nothing short of remarkable. We're watching a family make sense of their lives as they experience ever increasing temperatures.
According to Jeff Goodell, the author of The Heat Will Kill You First, our cultural awareness of the risks of extreme heat is extremely rudimentary. Heat is something that we often take for granted.
Which means that learning how to talk about extreme heat becomes more important than ever. Heat kills more people in the US than all other natural disasters combined. It's why it's known as the invisible killer.
In Texas, especially, we know that it is hot. Our cities have been built to avoid that heat, with air conditioning providing cheap, cold air. Talking about heat can often feel redundant.
In the dark Castañon living room and around their dinner table, I had many conversations with them over months. We shared our own experiences living through the hottest summer in Austin. Armando, the father, shared that he gets blisters if he's outside for too long. JJ, the son, revealed that he can't even get into his car during summers because it basically becomes an oven. We all shared that being stuck indoors during the hottest summer on record in Texas, all of us felt our mental health suffer.
It was during these many conversations that we had with the Castañon family that we had such an aha moment for our film. We found that the way that they spoke to each other was so unique in the fact that it was so tender, it was intimate, and it felt like the glue that defined their resilience. We saw a mom asking her children how they were dealing with climate change in such a tangible way that took climate change outside of an abstract notion. We knew we needed to show this dialogue in the film.
So in order to do that, we took a storytelling gamble. We chose to do away with the traditional storytelling narrative arc and excluded any expert scientific voices. We used music, color, and the contrast of light versus dark, interior versus exterior to set the stage for this critical conversation.
And interspersed between the family's dialogue, we highlight both man made objects and natural elements that we typically associate with heat, such as candles, stoves, air conditioning, water, and even the sun. And all of these objects gain a different charge when viewed through the perspective that heat is an everyday threat to this family's safety.
By modeling what it's like to talk about heat, this family becomes a reference point for our own families and communities. Ultimately, they're helping us to create a common language to navigate the uncertainty of climate disaster.
And as storytellers, we hope that by witnessing a family having a climate change conversation, it can be a spark for audiences worldwide to have their own conversations. Storytelling doesn't become a one-way window, but in fact, it helps create mutual dialogue. And, and it can help model for us what we may or may not have learned growing up. And as temperatures continue to rise all around the globe, it is our capacity to speak to our neighbors and our communities that will be the key to our survival.